Hello, friends, and welcome to our weekly connection. This is our once monthly recorded call, and we are so excited to have I'm going to call her like a pseudo expert in this because we asked her to talk a lot about it, and so that in my mind is an expert. Um, so our friend Shellie is here to talk to us today about Project Broadcast and just kind of give us like a 101 kind of a crash course lesson, why to use it, how simple it is, and like how it makes business more efficient. I could be putting words into her mouth, so no, is that pretty much what you're gonna love this?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. Well, I mean, without further ado, Shellie, thank you so much. The floor is yours.
Yay, I'm so glad to be here. It's funny, I do not feel like an expert on this topic. However, um I presented on this topic at leadership this past January, and there were two of us who actually presented. And at first I was like, what? Why did you ask two of us? But it turned out perfectly because I was more of the basic, like I can rock Project Broadcast, but I there was another lady there who did it, and she has like a black belt in Project Broadcast. And so if you are already like, no, I want to really take it to the next level, you went to her. And if you're like, I just want to know how to get started, you came to me. And so it worked out perfectly. So that's where we're at today. All right, I'm going to share my screen because that's how you're going to learn how to do the Project Broadcast. I like to still see your faces when I'm talking to people. All right. So here it is essentially. They have changed it. If you've used it before, and then you gave up, which I did that for a hot minute, and that's totally fine. It has changed in like, I don't know, within some point this year, they updated everything. So it looks a little bit more legit and like 2023. So the biggest thing is learning how to import your contacts and how to kind of start off doing that. So I already created a spreadsheet. I'm going to have to reshare. Reshare. So I just made a mock of what your spreadsheet could look like. This can also look like something that you downloaded from or exported from your workstation. It can be a spreadsheet you already have, maybe all of your customers that you've been keeping for a while, whatever it looks like. So if you export it from the workstation, a lot of times it's going to have like a lot more columns and all of that. All you need is first, last name, phone number, and then I'm going to tell you why you're going to have a tag in a minute. But that's all you need. So you can delete all the other columns. You can add email address in. It's an option for Project Broadcast, but I don't know why you'd want to. Never used it. Not even an option. So just forget that. When you see the email, you'll be like, what? I should have added it. Nope, it's fine. You can also do, this is like, I don't know what's above the lowest belt in karate, but this would be the next level, is you can add in like birthdays, like or anniversary dates, and automatically upload those as well. But when you're just starting out, you just need their names. Now, I'm going to let you Google this because it's not a lot of time, but you can Google how to take like information. So the workstation, I love them so much. All of the first and last names are in the same column. And so you can Google how to, actually, in column. And then you're going to go to, hopefully I can remember. Yep. Data. If you're on Excel, data, and then text to columns. And I don't know if you can see this little wizard thing that popped up. That maybe. Okay. Um, you're just gonna, it'll say delimited, and you'll hit next. And then you get to choose all the delimiters. I'm not really sure what delimiters are, but this gives you a list, and you're going to hit space. And then you're already in that first column because that's where all the names are. And you only see one. You see one name that has a space and else after it. And that's the one I typed, my name. And you'll hit next and then finish. And boom, it pops my last name over to the next column. So instead of a long time ago, I would be like, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. And then like 25 hours later, I finally had all the last names in the next column. This does it all for you. I will say that if you have a name like I have Martha de la Cruz, it's going to put de la Cruz in every, like its own column. De gets a column, la column. So I do scroll through and make sure that anyone who has more than just one last name, or like sometimes it's like Dawn Marie Cameron, and you're like, fantastic, she has her middle name in there, but now Marie is her last name. So you still kind of have to go through, but faster if you have more than like 5 people to do that. So let me delete my name again.
And
So this is
to jump in real quick,
yeah.
so the leadership and awards name column is really beneficial to use when you're exporting, specifically because that's where people get to say what they want to be called. And if they haven't put their preferred name in there, that's on them. But Maggie is going to be called Maggie when you pull that leadership and awards name specifically versus just their name in the workstation.
Yes. So when you're running the report, you want to use that name instead of whatever name's in the workstation, and then export and all that stuff. So here's my phone number and my husband's phone number. So if you want to call us, whatever, this is your chance. But I thought it'd be easier than giving you like hundreds of people's information, which I have done before on a call. It's fine. All right. So the biggest thing too you want to add is tag. So you can tag multiple people multiple times, however you want to tag them. So say you're doing a list and you exported it and you're like, I'm going to call this my team list. So put tag, and then you'll just label the whole tag team. Everybody gets the same one. Now say you run another report and you're like, these are my lead consultants. You can label them leads. So and I'll show you in a minute, but you'll see the tag team. You'll also see the tag lead. And then it allows you to be able to search and do fun functions in there. All right, so now let's go back to project broadcast. Where did it go? There it is. All right, so now we're going to import. And so you can see right here, these, like this one has customer current. I have all my customers labeled in different ways, and I can talk about that in a minute, but you'll see customers current, customer not local. She's part of a cheer group. So I can see all of her tags at a glance. So you're going to hit the 3 dots over here, and you'll hit import contacts. Oh, but you know what I didn't do? So when you go to save this, you have to save it as a CSV. I forgot to pre-do that. Un momento.
Fun fact, the new contacts tab automatically exports everything as a CSV. If you want it in Excel, you have to actually change it to an Excel file. Now, when you export anything from the workstation under contacts, it's a CSV file. So it might actually, I was trying to get to my latest spreadsheet and can't without like messing up my Zoom thing here. But I think they might have actually separated the first and last names too in that CSV, potentially.
It's been a minute then since I've downloaded. That's awesome.
Yeah, this is like in the last couple of weeks. So
yeah,
just heads on that.
Yeah. So
nuggets, as Ariel says.
That's amazing. Okay, so we're gonna import. Okay, y'all can see everything, right? Okay, so and it'll say import new users and update existing users. So the difference between these is if you're like, I'm just adding new customers, I only want to add new ones, but I exported, and it doesn't hurt to just keep importing them because nothing's going to change. The only difference is if you want to update existing users, is maybe if you want to tag them, you know, give them a new tag, or just in case their phone number changed, things like that. So you'll choose phone number. So you can choose from the columns that are labeled in your existing spreadsheet. So phone number, you choose number. If there happens to be a second number, see like email, not sure why, but there's always that option. Tag, And you can additionally tag them. So if you're like, I'm going to do this, so want to add another tag, that is available there. And then first and last, and then here, like, if you had put that column in for birthdays and things like that, you can do that here. Same with your anniversary. I do that for anniversaries, any notes, blah, 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 all the stuff. So this is level 1. So you're just going to do those, and then you click import. Now I'm already existed, but I've never put my husband in project broadcast. So I've now added him, and you'll see that contact exists. It's been updated. So now I have the tag family, and then my husband has just been added with all this stuff. All right. So let's go in and schedule a message. It should be really fun. Because after you've updated your contacts, you want to send them a message. So schedule under automation. And if you're like, I've been clicking around, I don't know, I've been using Project Broadcast, I think a year after it started, several years, 3 or 4 years, and I still can't remember where anything's at. So if you ever feel like, why can't I find it? It's there. Just keep clicking and you'll find it. All right. So what I love about this schedule is you can see all of the things that you have scheduled that are coming. So you can see I have Centiversaries going out. I have different project broadcasts for people who have joined and or reinstated. And so you can see all of those that sent this morning, and then all that are scheduled. I mean, like, you can just keep scrolling. It'll be forever, especially if you do like birthdays or anniversaries, because that happens every year. You can go back. So say you sent out a message to your customers, but you cannot remember what day you sent it or even what you sent them. That has happened to me. And I'm like, oh shoot, when was that? I can scroll back and see all of the messages that I have sent. So sometimes that really comes in handy. All right, so we're gonna hit the plus sign because we're gonna add a new message. And I do have, we'll cover templates. I'll show you where those are at. But I have templates, anything that you're constantly messaging your customers. So I have one that I use the most often is when an order is shipped. So I'll get it, you get an email from Scentsy that's like, hey, your order, their order is shipped. Fantastic. And now I have a template. So I just go in and it'll say, thanks so much for your order. It's shipped today and it's on its way to you. It's just like, or if a new customer's ordered, you get a PWS order, you're like, you're new, thanks. And that way you don't have to constantly try and remember like what to say, or, we're really busy. And so even just saving a few seconds is good. So if they've ordered before or I have a brand new customer, it's already in there. But I mean, you can have as many templates as you want. Like I have my customer ones and my team ones are the ones I use the most. So like I have some for new team members who are like, welcome to this team. I'm so excited you're here. But I'm not going to use a template today. So we're just going to be like, hi. And you'll use a dynamic field. I'll tell you why in a minute. But you can, this is where the black belt lady came in because she utilizes everything and all the dynamic fields. I'm like, oh, I never thought of that. So this, like I said, this is just how I use it. Her name's Stephanie Breimer, and I'm pretty sure she's recorded it. So if you want black belt level, when you're ready to level up, just go find her training. But I mostly just use first name. And we're just, because it's just going to be sent to my husband. How are you today? Okay. You can add a picture. Let's add one for fun. Just send a Dumbo warmer. Great. And you can add emojis. The biggest thing you want to look at is the light bulb. It's going to tell you how well your message looks and how the success rate of it. You can share template codes. So I can share, like, if you're like, oh, I really want a new consultant project broadcast, but I don't want to reinvent the wheel, I can send you my code. The biggest thing is when I get someone else's code, not everyone looks at the light bulb. And that's very important on your deliverability rate. If you're constantly sending long messages, and it'll even tell you right here, smaller messages have a higher likelihood of being read, which so true. Like, how many times have you gotten a long message? You're like, I don't want to read that. Your message does not contain words in all caps. All caps is a huge spam like blocker with cell phone companies. We cannot find any salesy language. Sometimes that's really hard. That's where your thesaurus comes in handy, is to kind of get, because not all carriers use thesauruses. They just use like words like, hey, we're having a big sale. That's a salesy word. But if it's like, hey, you're not going to want to miss this, check it out, there's no salesy words in there. You can also, if you have a lot of things for sale or it is a big sale, that's where I use a picture. So I'll use a picture and be like, you don't want to miss this, check it out here. And there's no salesy words in there, but they can see what's going on in the picture. Dynamic fields. It's really interesting here. Let's take out the dynamic field. To see how it moved like halfway down the green. It's amazing what a dynamic field does. I think, I don't know why, but I guess it makes it less spammy. But it'll even tell you like, hey, you should use a dynamic field. And it doesn't matter what dynamic field it is. So if you get really creative, you can have like 5 dynamic fields, you can have 1, but it really helps. And we cannot find any shortened URLs. So URLs like bit.ly, they don't like that because it looks spammy. A lot of, how many times have you gotten a text and it's kind of spammy? So, and they use links like that. If you're not wanting to send a big long, like, check out my link. And it's, since these links can be like 25 characters long. And I use a website called rebrandly.com. And so I can put in, I have don'tbesmelly.com, and then I can do don'tbesmelly.com/Bailey. And so I have a junior high doing a fundraiser right now. So forever and always, it'll be /Bailey instead of Shellie.Scentsy.us / blah, 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 blah. So if you want to get to that point, that is not flagged because it looks like a legit website instead of bit.ly. Or just send them your, name.scentsy.us and it'll be fine. It'll be great too. All right. But just for funsies, let's see. So if you add in a lot of people love exclamation points. Okay, we love exclamation points. Hello. And you'll just see it just keeps going down. The biggest things are exclamation points. Salesy language will really start to get you in the yellow. Like we could put, well, sale happening now. OMG. And then it just keeps going down. So if you open it up and you're like, I'm in the orange and the yellow, like what's happening? Go in, make sure you have a dynamic field, get rid of those. We only need 1 exclamation point. People get it, that you're excited. And all caps, check out that salesy language. And then you can, a lot of people love to put, I can't remember how much Jumbo it is, but we'll say it's $85. And it just keeps going down because now you've added price. One way to get around price, if you want to put it in there, is by using the emojis. So my most used emojis are the $ and numbers. So that's one way to get around it if it's not on the picture itself. All right, so we're gonna delete all of that.
Guys, I have never touched the light bulb button. I didn't even know what it did till right now. I also didn't go to leadership last year. So what the heck?
I know. And I didn't know either. Well, I knew a couple of years ago, but at one point I was using another SSD's like new consultant, and I felt like they weren't getting the messages a lot. And then when I finally learned the light bulb, because her messages were like this long and there's so many exclamation points in it, and I was like, it was in the orange. And so it doesn't mean that not everyone was getting it, but it just meant that a lot of people probably were not getting it. So And I will say, if you ever feel like there is a way, oh wait, hold on. I'm getting out of myself. Let's just finish this out. So this is where tags really come in handy. So say you have 100 customers or 50 customers. You don't want to scroll through and have to click each one. So you can search your tags and add them. So I found my family. I'm going to click both. And I'm going to click add all at the bottom. Now, sometimes I send out, like I have a project broadcast tag for my customers. There's about 200 of them that I'll send it to. But maybe there's 2 people that I don't want to send it to. So I'll click add all, and then you can go back into send to, and then I will just take those 2 people off because you can search by it. To me, that it's been a lot faster. So I'm going to send it to both, and then you can schedule. This is what I love the most, is being able to schedule. So sometimes maybe this is on a Thursday, right? We find out all of the new stuff that's coming and we're like super excited, but I don't want to send it on Thursday. I want to send it like maybe Saturday morning. Or if I send it during the week, I always do it around lunchtime because that's when people are looking at their phones if they're working, or even if they're not working, that's when, I'll stop to eat my lunch. I'm looking at the phone. So I always send it around lunch, sometimes 11:30, 12 o'clock. That way it gets there before their lunch or if they have an early lunch. But you can choose any day, anytime. It's fantastic. So we're going to do today, and we'll do it in like 3 minutes. Okay, and then you click the check mark and you hit confirm. Whoop, and there it goes. It's going to go out in 3 minutes. Now, I don't know if you're ever like me, but sometimes I forget that I've scheduled messages and I'm like, why is my phone blowing up? So either just be prepared for that or set yourself a reminder that like your project broadcast is going to go off. And I also try and look at my own schedule to go, okay, I'm going to have a message that's going to go out. Am I going to be busy during that time where I can't respond? Now, if it's like 30 minutes, an hour where you can't respond, that's fine. But there was a day I forgot and I was like, I'm just scheduling everything out. And I sent out this huge message and I was busy for like 3 hours and my phone just kept going off. So also look at what you're doing if you want to be able to respond back. Now you'll see in the schedule part how it just says updates detected, and that just means that you have a project broadcast that's going to be going out soon. Oh, and my time was off. And so it already sent it out. That's fantastic. All right. Yes, I was going to show you where you can see oh yeah, it's right here. So you can see all these messages were sent out and it says sent. And so I can see that it was sent to Olivia and this is all the things that it said. Let's go back though. Let me find a good example. Because I didn't pay attention for like a whole month and I was like, why am I not getting any sales? My team's not responding back, like rude. I'm like, what is happening? Like this can't be a fluke. So I went to project broadcast and I was looking at it. And here it says unsent. Now this was back in May. We're not going to scroll that far back, but you can see I had sent 200 messages out and 20 were sent and the 184 were not sent. And I was like, what's happening? 2 carriers had marked my messages as spam. So guess what? I love Project Broadcast because they have the most amazing customer service. I emailed them right away and they got with the carriers and got my number unblocked within like 48 hours. So they're fantastic with working with you. So if you ever have an issue like that, don't just give up and be like, that's it, I tried it, I'm over. You just have to message them because I'm sending out lots of messages all the time. And so all carriers see is this number that's just constantly sending messages out. But I'm like, these people signed up for it. They actually want the messages. But you'll see the unsent. You can see why, which these people have been sitting in this tag forever. I just haven't touched them. This is my own mother-in-law. It's because this is her home number. And then like not a mobile number, that means it's like a landline. So some people still have those. Marion, probably a long time ago, she was like, don't message me anymore because they can reply back stop, and it'll automatically set them as do not message. But yes, all these, I didn't get charged at all for it. If it's unsent, you're not charged. So just FYI. And Lori, she's now in jail, so she doesn't have a phone number anymore, but that was fun. So
Just a note too, I did make a comment in the chat, but I wanted to make a note. I had a bunch that went unsent like 2 months ago, and I was doing the same thing, racking my brain. What the heck? What did I do wrong this time? Because they had sent perfectly the week before. And what I had done this time differently was I'm a ding dong and put the link at the bottom of the message, the last thing. Don't do that. End with a question, end with a statement, end with a couple emojis. Don't ever leave the link to be the last thing on your text message. So sandwich that link.
yes. And that will, if you use the light bulb, it'll tell you that too. It'll be like, hey, we noticed that there's a link at the end.
That's cute that you mentioned that now.
You know, that light bulb, it's really, really helpful. But like, oh, like even in this message, you can see that I used all these emojis, and you can go back on your old messages and you can do message insight, and that's your light bulb, and you can see like it's salesy language. It's really hard to get around that one. But as long as it's close to super green, I'm fine with it. So, yeah. So go back in some of your fun, like your other messages, and just for fun, see where you're at.
No,
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
I will not. I'll just use it going forward.
I love that. Love that journey for you. And you can also see just unsend messages. So you can see like all of them individually. There are other things that you can see. Yeah, you can go to like your account, and you can see this is where things they moved around. Oh, stats. So stats are fun. So say you signed up for Project Broadcast like a year ago, and you want to see how many credits you have. This is a great place to go. That I may have signed up for the top tier that one time, and then I didn't use it for a whole year. This is also what I love about Project Broadcast. It's not like a gym membership where you don't use it and you lose it. You just keep spending all that money. No, it just accrues. So by the time I started using it, I had over 10,000 credits ready to go. So I went down to the very bottom tier for like a whole year, and I sent a lot of, that was the year I just threw stuff out. Like I used every single customer that I ever had. So I was sending almost 1,000 Project Broadcasts like a month or more because I had the credits. So I was like, let's just see. Like, I've been with C now over 17 years. At that point, it'd probably been over 15. And so I had accrued a lot of like customers, but I wasn't doing great follow-up, right? And that's a lot of people follow up. So I was just sending messages just to see what would happen. So I did that for a whole year. And what I learned is I'm only sending customers, they will only stay on my Project Broadcast if they've ordered from me within the last 2 years. Because the ROI, the return on investment, was not fantastic sending all those messages. Now I kind of had prepaid for all of them, so it was fine. But what I would do is, if you're first starting out, I would try it for maybe 6 months. Put all of your customers, like I had gone through my workstation, I'd gone through old door price slips, old order forms, searched my phone for customers, and then added them all in a spreadsheet. And those are who I sent messages to. I got a lot of, stops in the first few months, but essentially I would try it for a few months and see. We know that it takes 5 to 12 times, and like contacting touch points, whether it's mail, it's text, it's email, to get someone to order. So I figure after 6 months, if they haven't ordered, just redo your Project Broadcast. So they're still in a tag. They're in my potential customers tag. But I have a tag for current customers. I have one for local. I have one for not local. So if I want to say I'm having an open house, I don't need to send that to my not local people. So I have one for just, so I kind of have things separated out. But then after 6 months, redo it. Figure out what is working best for you. Don't be afraid to to try something different. And you can even ask them, like, are you still wanting to receive any of these messages? And I had a sweet old lady who was on it for quite a long time. And she was like, yes, I still want to get your messages. But she's never ordered. And so I did finally remove her because she would even respond back, sorry, I can't this month. My okay, that's fine. I did start out doing a VIP. So I messaged all of those 1,000 and I would say, hey, if you want to know about weekly what's going on, reply back with VIP. And so about once a week, I would message my VIPers and I would send them what's going on. And then the other people, they would get a message a month with just kind of it was a graphic that just kind of showed everything that had come out. But again, after about a year, I realized the people who wanted to be on my VIP weren't necessarily even ordering, right? They were like, yeah, that sounds great, but they weren't actually purchasing anything. So that's when I kind of switched it up and realized I'm just going to send these messages to the people who are actually purchasing over and over and over again. So sometimes it's once a week, like in a month, and sometimes it's 2 to 3 times in a month. Sometimes if the month is busy, it might be one time, but it's a great way that I can reach out to my customers. And I know some people are hesitant because they're like, I've always used this one phone number, but now I'm getting a new phone number. Like, that's confusing. Just be upfront with them. I just said, hey, this is my new Scentsy number. My old one still works, but if you need anything, you know, this is the number I'll be using. Would you like to receive messages from me, kind of thing? So, and then when I have a new customer, it's the same thing, like, hey, thank you so much for ordering. Would you like to stay in the know with Scentsy? I'll message you a few times a month. And they're like, yeah. And I'll still get a few every now and then that's like, hey, just remove me. And it's fine if you want to go through your messages, like maybe once a year, or your contacts, and be like, okay, that person hasn't ordered in a while. And you can still keep them tagged in some way, shape, or form. Like usually around catalog change, I'll send out a message to all of my potentials just to let them know that there's a new catalog, and maybe that'll help get a sale. But I really just focus on my customers. Right. There's a lot more that we could go in depth about, but I want to cover any questions.
So in the comments, I think you kind of mentioned this with kind of playing around and figuring out what works best for you. But Vaughn had asked specifically, do you schedule your texts out when you receive the orders, or just you're sending them as the emails come through for the, hey, your order's shipped?
Yes. So I just do it when the order is shipped. I know, and this is where it's fantastic because you can do whatever you want to do. I know of consultants that as soon as that order is submitted, they're like, thank you so much for your order. And then they'll also send out another text that same day. As soon as they see it, they'll be like, hey, your order is shipped. I felt like that was too cumbersome, and sometimes I'm too busy to do that. So then I wouldn't do it because I was overwhelmed. So I just now do it all together. Because sometimes obviously right now shipping is a little bit longer, but sometimes their order is placed that day and then 3 days later it ships out. And so I'm like, why don't I just do it all together? So I'll say thank you and let them know as soon as I see the email. Now, sometimes I'll keep the email unread until I send it. And then if it's been a few days, I'll double check to see if it's actually arrived already. And then I'll kind of change the message that I send, because I'm like, oh, your order shipped. Did it arrive safely? So even if you're a few days late, there's a way to kind of reword it and still make it work.
And I know so many of us use Project Broadcast in different ways, and we use it for team and customers. Some people just use it for customers. So there's so many variables when it comes to this. And that's the cool thing, is you can play around with it. Like Shellie said, use it for 6 months to a year, figure out what works for you, what you like about it, and then tailor things based off of that. And I like that you can share things, and like there's bundles. So if you do like a drip campaign, so like in June, some amazing leaders set up an option where you could focus on sales or recruiting or booking. And so a lot of you were part of that. And so that went through Project Broadcast, and you could just automatically get those messages sent to you. So things like that are available to share as well. But that's black belt, I would say. So when you're ready for that, I would then cross that bridge. But I would encourage you, I wrote this in the chat comments, I would encourage you not to let somebody saying stop or do not message me mean anything about you. Because it is not personal. It is most likely not personal against you. Sometimes people just don't want to receive text messages. They don't like people. Maybe they don't like, some people really think that it's a bot. And so every now and again, I'm like, hey, just a reminder, I'm a real person. And I include like a picture of myself. But don't let them not wanting your message mean anything about you. If they don't want to hear from you, they'll let you know, and that's okay. That's their choice. So remove any blame or self-judgment based off of somebody else's wants and needs.
You're saving money.
Yeah, that's what
They don't want
I'm like,
so.
credit saved in the future. Got it.
Speaking of money, do you remember how much the lowest tier is? And just for anyone that's like considering doing this, it hasn't jumped onto Project Broadcast. This is a tax write-off for us. And you know, it's a minimal cost per month. Is it like $9.99 or something like that? Like, I don't think it's very much. I have one of the higher tier ones, and I need to look and see how many credits I have. $15.99.
I'm on here right now, and it has the pay as you go for $5 per month.
Okay.
And then, but that doesn't tell you how many credits. The most popular one is going to be the starter at $15 per month with 6,000 credits per year with rollovers. And then they have the business at 25, the professional at 50, and the premium at 75.
Okay. Yeah. Mine's billed monthly, and I think I pay like $50 a month or something like that. But I'm sending out like weekly. Obviously, I need to use my light bulb, but I send out like weekly customer texts, and I have the intention of doing more team stuff, but I, you know, need to just sit down and get all my ducks in a row. They're more like squirrels right now, but, it is a tax write-off. And if you're going to use it intentionally, it is worth the investment, because even if you get $15 a month, that's one $60 order. If you're certified, that's a $60 order that has paid for that entire month worth of text messages that you can send out to your customers or to your team or whatever. So don't let that scare you. And it's certainly not required. Like, no one's saying you have to do this to be successful. Everybody does different things, but Project Broadcast is something that the three of us have all seen be super impactful in our business. So, but it is very intimidating until you know how to do it. Even just like the CSV file, even that is intimidating to some people. Like, it took me forever to finally wrap my mind around that and like get my butt in gear to do it. And I have not updated it more than 2 times since I did my initial contact. So like, I'm in that same boat. So don't think that it's just you. For anybody that's watching this and you're like, oh, this seems like a lot. Until you get used to it, it can be. But
yeah,
this is recorded. You can go back and rewatch it. But don't let the cost deter you. Do the smallest one and see how it goes. If you want to up it, great. But yeah, anything that like this that you're going to implement into your business, you really want to give it a minimum of 6 months. Anything like this, whether it's monthly mailers, Project Broadcast, any kind of paid email, you know, paying for Canva, you need to give it time to work. If you try it one time and it doesn't work,
right,
you didn't give it enough effort and enough time to really soak in to your business.
And I will say that every single one of us who uses it has a referral code that gets you 50% off of your first month. So just reach out to somebody and say, hey, can I have your referral code? I want to try this. And like Maggie said, though, like, I would recommend budgeting for that 6 months so you can see if it's worth it. But why not get 50% off of your first month? It's totally worth it. And then you can kind of pay as you go or do whatever you want from there. But it's worth trying. There's also really cool things like Next Level Up. People can send you keywords and be opted in for messages. There's also a text forwarding system I use. Not the same. It's like T2LL something something. But you can put in your Project Broadcast phone number and a keyword, and it'll automatically have them text you. So that's like a little maybe is that too much? Are we following? Does that make sense? Totally different.
Never heard of it.
What?
Yeah, I never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Okay, I'm gonna share it everywhere then. I have the link saved on my browser so that I can easily click it. But it takes you to this link and it says enter your phone number, enter the keyword. So I enter my project broadcast phone number, I enter the keyword, and it populates a URL, and I share that. So when people click that, whether it's from my boards, my like my interactive stories, wherever I have it hyperlinked, it opens up from their phone a text message with that keyword already in there. So they're already texting me what they want. So that's just a next level up, because I want people to text me. I don't want them to call me, no, thank you, I love you, please text me forever. That helps kind of like plant that seed, but it also helps with those keywords that you can then make a tag in Project Broadcast and do other things. So it's like a lot of little things that work together, and it's a totally free thing, but there are so many cool options within this. And I haven't even like scraped the surface. I am not Stephanie Breimer black belt in Project Broadcast. I'm like mid-level success Ariel in Project Broadcast, you know? So do you guys have any questions for Shellie? No, I see laughing and smiling.
Any light bulb moments?
It's so good. I love
I
that.
know. I love it.
That's mine, obviously.
So I do have a quick question, and it could go for all of you though. I solely run off of my phone. Is all of this just like phone where I don't have to? Because sometimes I do have certain things saved and I haven't saved in notes, but I'm never on my computer. Or sometimes I wish I had time to sit at my computer, but it's not realistic for me. Like I do everything off of the phone.
That's honestly what I love about Project Broadcast, because you can reply back on your computer. You can, like, I can sit and chat, but then there's also an app on my phone. And so, and you can even set it where if you're like, I'm busy during this time, don't show me notifications, that it'll hold all those notifications during that certain time, or it'll just come through similar to like Facebook Messenger or
Okay.
a message. So yeah, it's on both.
The only thing you have to do on your computer is upload that file with your contacts. Everything else can be done totally from your phone. Mine's in like, I have like a messages folder on my phone. I have an iPhone. So I've got like, or a social media folder, Facebook, Instagram, and Project Broadcast is in there. So it just pops up as like a notification there. And you can do all of this. Once you get the CSV file uploaded, which you have to do on your computer, everything else can be done from your phone, everything.
Okay.
Yeah. And the only thing I've ever had, sometimes my phone puts my apps into like deep sleep, and so the notifications won't pop up. And one time I was like, I feel like my phone's been really silent from Project Broadcast, and it was like 5 days and there was like all these messages. So if your phone ever tends to do that, you just might want to double check.
You don't have an iPhone, right? You have something else.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It could have been that aspect.
Yeah, I don't think it's that.
Mine does that too, and I have an iPhone.
What? That is so
Yeah.
weird.
Mm-hmm.
Probably my settings, but I'm really techie, but when it comes to my phone, I'm like, someone fix it. But just somebody figure this out.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Nope. Thank you.
Welcome.
Well, you guys are awesome. This was so good. I love Project Broadcast so much. And Shellie, thank you for sharing your knowledge and helping give us an on-screen demo. I know it's going to be so beneficial to so many people, especially I know we're already in the thick of the busy season, but there is no wrong time to start this, even if it's just like a baby step, one step at a time. Do what you can to take a step forward for your business, because this automation and it just makes it easier. It makes life simpler, because why do we not want to make things simpler for ourselves? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yes and amen, you know? Cool. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate you. Shellie, thank you for your time. Everybody else, have an awesome week, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, Shellie.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.